You may have already watched AtmanShine episodes on many critical aspects of human life. What follows is not a compilation of ideas, it is one integrated structure revealed in parts so it can be understood as a whole. What you are about to see is not based on belief, religion, or tradition. It is based on how life actually functions. God is the most spoken subject in the world, yet suffering is everywhere. So the question is not emotional, it is structural. Is the problem in God or in our understanding of reality? Let us observe, not assume. God is the most discussed subject in the world, yet the most misunderstood. Saints say God is love and kindness, but suffering is everywhere. So, where is the gap? Is it in God or in our understanding? God cannot be understood in isolation. Life operates through a trinity: God, karma, and awareness. God is the vertex, but the vertex stands on a tripod: belief, karma, and awareness. If one leg collapses, the vertex collapses, not because God fails, but because our understanding fails. In part 2 of the interview, we unfold this blueprint. If God cannot be understood in isolation, then the failure is not divine, it is perceptual. What we call contradiction in God may simply be a limitation in how consciousness operates at human level. Let us see where this limitation arises. God is not difficult to understand because God is hidden. God is difficult to understand because our consciousness is limited. At our level of awareness, we expect God to behave according to our desires. When life doesn't cooperate, we accuse God. Saints speak from a different level of consciousness. We listen from a different level. The contradiction is not in God. The contradiction is between levels of perception. To understand God, arguments won't help, only awareness will. If misunderstanding comes from the level of consciousness, then belief alone cannot deliver clarity. Belief can begin the journey, but belief without awareness cannot complete it. Without awareness, belief does not illuminate, it replaces one form of blindness with another. Most people try to understand God through belief alone. Belief without awareness becomes superstition. Belief is the entry point, not the destination. Without belief, there is no seeking. Without awareness, belief turns blind. When blind belief collapses, people say God doesn't exist. Actually, belief collapsed, not God. Belief must stand on awareness, otherwise, the structure fails. When blind belief collapses, people do not question belief, they question God. What if God was never the problem? What if the mechanism that governs life was never emotional but precise? The mechanism is karma, not as reward, not as punishment, but as settlement. Many people fear karma, some deny karma, very few understand karma. Karma is not punishment, karma is a settlement system. Every action, intention, thought, and desire enters the ledger. Settlement happens silently through life situations. Ignore karma and God appears cruel. Understand karma, God appears precise. Karma is not against us, karma is balancing us. If karma is a neutral settlement system and God does not intervene emotionally, then where does human freedom exist? If we cannot control God and we cannot cancel karma, is there any real place where human participation happens? There is only one. Awareness is the only place where human participation exists. We cannot control God. We cannot cancel karma. We can observe, understand, and respond consciously. Without awareness, life becomes reaction. With awareness, life becomes participation. Saints did not escape life, they understood life. What is now emerging is not philosophy, it is structure. God does not stand alone. Understanding does not rest on one idea. Reality stands on a tripod: belief, karma, and awareness. When one leg is missing, existence appears unjust, cruel, or meaningless. Not because God fails, but because structure collapses. God stands as the vertex, but the vertex stands on a tripod. What is a tripod? Belief, karma, awareness. Remove belief, God becomes irrelevant. Ignore karma, God looks unjust. Lose awareness, God turns into blind faith. Saints stabilize all three. Most of us stand on one leg and complain. The collapse is structural, not divine. When the structure collapses, suffering begins. Not because life is hostile, but because reality is being interpreted through resistance. Suffering is not evidence against God, it is evidence of misunderstanding life. Suffering is not proof against God. Suffering is proof of misunderstanding life. Pain happens to the body, suffering happens to the mind. God did not design suffering. The mind manufactures it through resistance. As awareness grows, suffering reduces, not because life changes, but because perception changes. If suffering does not come from God, and if clarity dissolves suffering, then what separates saints from ordinary human beings? Not divine favor, not supernatural powers, only one thing: clarity. Saints are not special beings chosen by God. They are humans who dismantle the mind. They did not gain something new. They lost false identities. That loss brought clarity. That clarity brought compassion. That compassion appeared divine. We admire saints, but we resist their path. But what prevents clarity in most lives? The mind. Not because the mind is wrong, but because when the mind begins to command life, it resists reality instead of understanding it. This resistance is where suffering is born. Mind is a useful instrument, but when it hijacks life, suffering begins. Mind wants control. Life operates through karma. When mind resists karma, pain turns into suffering. Saints did not destroy the mind. They stopped obeying it blindly. Awareness puts mind in its rightful place. If the mind cannot govern reality, if destiny cannot be negotiated, and if karma cannot be bypassed, then what is the true function of a human being in life? Not control, not escape, only awareness. We often try to change destiny. We try to escape karma. We try to negotiate with God. But our real role is much simpler. Our participation is only through awareness. Awareness does not change events. Awareness changes our relationship with events. That alone reduces suffering. That alone brings clarity. What you have just seen is not belief. It is not theology. It is the operating structure of existence. God is not a personality, not an emotion, not a property of any place, culture, or institution. God is an ocean of creative energy without color, without shape, only light and sound. It is omnipresent because it is everywhere, omnipotent because it is a source, omniscient because nothing exists outside it. Do not lock God in structures, do not assign ownership. It is universally available, free to anyone who seeks, not through rituals, but through consciousness. Raise your awareness through right understanding. Do not obey the mind blindly, because when you are above the mind, you're above the world. This is not a belief system. This is how life actually works.